So that's a good one to watch before you watch this one. Watch that one, then come to this one, and then this one.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Today we're from Le and Jung Law Corporation. My name is Lami, and this is Jeremy. We would like to have a very short conversation on the topic of choosing nationality for a kid that is born of two different nationalities parents.
Well, happy to be here. My name's Jeremy Holt. Thanks for inviting me, Lami, and look forward to diving into this topic.
Well, if you remember last topic, we discussed about marriage of foreigners in Vietnam.
I do, yes. Interesting
This one,
topic.
I'm just gonna follow up with after the marriage.
Okay. After they've married,
of
now
affairs.
we're into the next.
The next step is having kids.
Kids.
Now, parents
Okay.
most likely will come from different countries,
Yep.
on in different nationalities, mainly a foreigner and a Vietnamese. But it could be two different foreign nationalities. The kids born here,
Yep.
which nationality should the kids take on himself or herself?
Okay. So the parents could be from another country, and the child is born in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You know, what do they do? Do they take
Exactly.
one nationality and?
So just
this sort
like
of thing.
every other administrative process that we discussed previously, it's also involves 3 stages.
Yeah, so that's a good one to watch before you watch this one. Watch that one, then come to this one, and then this one.
Yes, definitely. Watch the previous one when we discussed 3 stages, but I repeat,
Yeah,
the first
please.
stage
Yeah, that'd be
is
good.
check the condition whether the kids can be qualified for one nationality
Okay,
or other.
I would have thought that's an easy thing. Maybe I'm wrong. An easy thing to do. You know, you've got
Well,
one
just
parent
imagine-
Vietnamese, one French or Australian, or
It's kind of easy in principle, but
Uh-oh.
imagine
Yeah.
that always the parent want their kid to be their own nationality.
sure.
Say a French,
Yeah.
a Vietnamese, they
Yeah.
want the kid to have dual citizenship. Is it?
Yeah, we're not picking on the French here. Could
No,
be.
we don't.
Could be.
How about Australian? you know,
Well,
by the
which
way.
is Australia if you like.
So the kid can the kid be both Australian and Vietnamese? That's probably the key question here.
Okay.
Now the condition is Vietnam. Does Vietnam allow dual citizenship? And the answer is Vietnam does not recognize dual citizenship here.
Okay.
So if the kid want to be a Vietnamese, the kid need to register as a Vietnamese first.
Okay.
And then the kid can then go to Australian embassy to register his birth
Right.
after that.
Yep.
And this because Australia allow dual citizenship.
I see.
Other countries might not.
Okay.
That's the condition stage. So you check the condition whether the country allow dual citizenship. Some of the countries such as Singapore, India, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, we don't recognize dual citizenship. Some other country, America maybe, Australia maybe, Canada maybe, they allow. And then there are another level of the country strictly prohibits the dual citizenship.
Yep.
So if you're taking another foreign citizenship, you automatically lost your original one.
That's interesting.
For example, Singapore.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
So if I go as an Australian to Singapore, live there, presumably at some point get a Singapore passport or citizenship.
You can't.
Oh, okay, maybe that's not a good
A
example.
Singaporean going to Australia
Yeah, that's a
and
better
want
example.
to
Yep.
be naturalized as Australian,
Yep.
then he must decide whether he keep Singaporean or he is Australian and not Singaporean.
Right.
So that's the
okay.
question of whether the parents has to discuss
Yep.
in case one of them doesn't allow dual citizenship.
Okay. So in Vietnam, they just recognise you as a Vietnamese citizen,
That's right.
right? But in the other country, you might be allowed to have two passports, two citizenships, but it just depends on what country that is. So that's
the condition.
right.
Check-in
So
stage.
that's really important to check that
Exactly.
early on
Yes.
in the process.
One of our customer have a Vietnamese and a Japanese parent,
Right.
and he registered Japanese citizenship for his child, but at the same time he want to register Vietnamese citizenship, but he do it after, and
I
that's
see.
impossible because right now the Vietnamese already recognize that the kid has registered in Japan, so
Okay.
the Vietnamese government reject his registration here.
I see. That's unfortunate. That's
Yes.
very unfortunate.
Yes. So you check first,
Yep.
and then maybe you need to consult with lawyer for
Yeah,
this.
right.
Because once you already do it, it's hard, almost impossible
Yeah.
to fix.
Yeah. Okay. So act early, get some advice early on is the key takeaway there for phase one. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you fulfill the condition, then it moves to the next one, which is easier than the marriage registration process, which is just register for a bus
Okay.
and obtain a birth certificate. That's quite straightforward.
Yep.
Can do it at the local
Well,
government
that's-
office.
That's a relief. That's easy.
Yes. So, but however, again, you're dealing with local officer here.
Yep.
So it's always convenient and always time saving if you have a person that know the procedure and the language.
Right. I often hear foreigners remarking that they go and try and register documents, and it's sort of like a yo-yo going back and forth
Many
to the
times.
office. So
Exactly.
that could hopefully be avoided. Well, likely be avoided if you get advice early on.
Yes.
Yep.
I could say 90%
Right.
of the people from
Yep.
other country come to Vietnam encounter this
Yep.
kind of issue.
Yeah, and it's also a question of time as well, because people are busy. They've got important jobs, foreigners in Vietnam, as well as Vietnamese, and it's a question of delegating that responsibility to a firm, and it does cost money, but it saves so much stress and so much time. It's more efficient.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So I think that's our
Okay. And step 3, was there anything you wanted to comment on that, or I think that we've sort of covered that for now, have
Well, submitting the document is the last step.
we? Okay.
Now, only one tip I would like to suggest to people: wear properly when you come to Vietnamese government office, because you might be asked to return home and change your clothes.
Okay, so we're saying no Hawaiian shirts, no thongs, stubby shorts,
Yes.
singlets. Is that?
It's not a joke, because I see it happen that one of my clients were asked to leave,
Yeah.
and we have to stay there, wait for him almost an hour for him to go home, change his clothes, and came back.
And in Vietnam, am I correct in thinking that wearing long pants is
Show respect.
customary? It shows respect. So that's an interesting takeaway for the foreigners listening.
No short,
Remember
no
that.
singlets.
It's important.
That's right.
Again, that's something that, if you act early and get some proper assistance, you won't be sent home.
Thank you for listening. I hope that's helped.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Lenny.